Thank you once again for joining me in another day of the journey to resilience. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule each day that you download these podcasts on resilience. And I hope to hear from you again, although mostly I'm presenting this to you, but I'd love to be present with you as you share with me your journey, your definitions on leadership, resilience, currency, being present. I'd love to hear from you guys. So when you get a chance, check out the website 820podcast.com. Schedule a meeting with me just to chat, chop it up a bit, learn from each other, and hopefully, we both will come away with something we each didn't know before the call and can grow from that as well. Today's topic is called Friend and Love. And now this topic today is inspired from a book I read recently from Martin Buber called I and Thou. I and Thou. And that term, that will come up in part of this conversation today. But just the background, Martin Buber, about, I think almost exactly 100 years ago, wrote that book. It was then summarily translated from the original Jewish and Germanic languages into English as best as the translator could. And it's not a long book, but it's quite dense and quite complex. Please, if you get a chance, pick the book up by Martin Buber, I and Thou, and take the time, quiet time, and dedicate time to get into that book. Because as he wrote it, literally 100 years ago, yet so relevant to me, at least, in this topic about resilience and love and friendship and fellowship. So in that book, he was saying, and relating the I and thou versus the I and you dichotomy. And as I read it, and I'm not sure I quite understand it, but the you, I and you, almost like those stating you as a you, or conferring you as a you, almost makes you an object. Instead of saying I and thou and saying to you thou, it sounds like a simple change in you versus thou. But when I said it out loud and even use it with friends of mine, it's very uncomfortable because I'd never done it before, and probably they never heard it. And you say, thou, I'm not a thou, thou art God. Well, in a way, that's what the term thou, when expressed from one individual to another individual. Consider this: to say thou to somebody, you, as you're in your godness, you're referring and connecting and communicating with that person's thou-ness. Think about that. Not promoting myself or you, but we're on that same consistent continuum of where we came from, the image that created us from the Creator. If we believe what's written in the spiritual and religious tomes, from the Quran to the Bible to the Torah, we're supposed to have been created in that image and likeness of the God. So can we not, each of us individually, comprise and reflect that installment, that spark, that inspiration, that we are certainly different in sound, height, weight, look, skin color, intelligence, financials, all the things we can put ourselves in margins in comparison, but the commonality is where we all came from and who we are all representatives of. So he was saying in that book, I and Thou, one thing about what I'm thinking is the friend and love construct that I'm using as a construct for this topic today, that relation is reciprocal. Relation is reciprocal. And that to me spells out the action of a friend. To be a friend to somebody, and somebody to be a friend to you, it should be reciprocal. Now, the question will come up, what about in terms of love? And I asked this question of my son a few weeks ago, about when you have instructed me to love everyone. I said, can't you apply that same metric to the friendship thing? He says, no, Dad, nah. Friend and friendship takes a whole lot of work. But the constant of love, which emanates from your heart every moment, those 70, 80 beats per minute, that's constant. And that is the love you should be receiving, that you are receiving. And your only duty is to share it without any question, without any resistance, without any holding back. Love is constant. But for me, that's what I have stepped away from for many, many years. And in learning that lesson about loving everyone, I had to learn even a little deeper that what's missing from me is the patience. And that's the lesson in the action of love for me. Remember I said a few moments ago, to be a friend is reciprocal. To give love is one way, all the time, constantly, because that's what's given to me, to you, in that similar heartbeat. That signal goes out constantly, every minute. However your heart beats, every minute it goes out without any question until it doesn't. Now, patience for me is a lesson in action of love, but it's not reciprocal. Again, it's as constant as a call for and a sound called love from your essence, from your heart. That signal that continues to emit on a constant, consistent, unquestioned basis and rhythm. So when I say that word from Mr. Buber's book, I and thou, when I see and started to use that in my language, referring to my friends as thou, I'm not trying to be funny or cute about how I'm addressing them, but even when I say it, it brings a different feeling to myself, how to say it and saying it, and regardless of how it is received, I know it could be taken as an affront or definitely out of pocket, but even saying that as infrequently as I have so far, when I say it, it brings a whole different feeling inside of me to share that with someone I'm talking to that I consider as a brother, a sister, and a friend. But that word thou brings me even closer and closer to that essence that have been ignoring for a long time on the love side of me, and also how to connect from even a stranger as a thou with a formal, respective, and response to that call for love. So no, we have no problem calling each other, hey dog, what's up dog? How about this? Could we just take the time to refer to each other as, hey God, hey thou? Think about it. Give it a shot. Couldn't hurt. Could be a new perspective that is new to you today. Thanks again. As always, stay present, stay current. It is always 8:20.